Welcome to the think tank. That's what I call this now. Because every time I get on my laptop, I'm looking up stuff, I'm thinking about things, what I want to do, how do I want to do it, that sort of thing. Um, I talked about a Model X and I thought about it and I was like, I don't know, it's kind of a lot of money. And so my thing was I was going to try to get the Ford F-350 dually and just kind of put this whole Model X idea in the back and just, forget it for a little while. The dually didn't happen, and they're not going to build it now. So, I mean, really, did I need a dually? No. So I think I should just move on from that. I really liked my Model X when I had it. Problems with the Model X, though, were that, the paint sucked. But we can get that PPF wrapped. That can be fixed. So let's talk a little bit about the Model X and let's build one because there's some new options. As you can see, they now have a standard range option. Now, standard range only has 270 miles of range versus 348. That's a very big hit if you really think about it. But from the numbers we were given, it's roughly 80% of this. I should check my math on that. I mean, I'm just going by what other people said. So 348 times 0.8. 278. Yeah, that's a little bit less than 80%. But anyway, Tesla released this standard range model. They also did the same thing for the Model S. But they confirmed that this is the same car, the same battery, the same everything as the normal Model X. The only difference is they're limiting the capacity of the battery. I think it's like, now see, again, I don't know, 80 some kilowatt hour. Maybe it's 70 some. But anyway, maybe it's 75. I don't know. Anyway, they're limiting it by software. So you could charge this car to 100%. You're never going to actually be at 100%. You're going to be about 75% all the time. And that's another great thing. When you supercharge this car, you can supercharge to 100% and pull 50 kilowatt the whole way. I mean, at the very end. Usually when you get to the top 5%, you're getting like 11 kilowatt or less. Well, this one doesn't have, you wouldn't be near the top. So at 100% charging this car, you would be at 75% of the battery basically. So it would charge, probably 50 or 60 kilowatt until it finishes, which would be pretty cool. So top charging this car would be super easy. And you could always top charge it at a supercharger, at home. It wouldn't matter. You could leave it at 100% at all times. That's a big thing for me. I don't like LFP batteries personally because, one, yes, they're supposed to last longer, but their method of measuring voltage is not right. It doesn't work because LFP maintains that certain voltage at all times, no matter what the charge level is. And that makes it harder to predict what's left in the battery, and then you may get stranded. And as the battery degrades, if the system isn't also degrading software wise, then it's more likely to screw up and be wrong. But at the same time, if it's predicting degradation by software, then it may over predict that degradation, and then you're not getting to use the full capacity of the battery because it doesn't know where the top and bottom are of the battery. There's a lot of different aspects. It's also slower. LFP has a slower charge and discharge rate, which results in a slower acceleration on the car and a slower supercharge. So I like the old batteries better, personally. And when you have a battery that's bigger than you actually can use, and you're limiting it down to 75% of what that battery can actually use, I think that's a good idea. Because normally I would only charge to 80% anyway. Sure, if I want to go on a trip, that's not ideal, but there are superchargers everywhere, so why wouldn't I? Let's build this car how I would want it. So I have decided that I want blue again. And I know I had a lot of paint issues with the blue, but honestly, um, I'll just get it PPF wrapped. 98,490 is what it comes out to. And if we can compare that to the long range, it's 108,490, so exactly $10,000 for the more range and, quicker acceleration. Now, what I actually wanted was the plaid, and it's actually not that much more, only about $3,000 or so. 3,500, yeah, $3,500 more to go plaid, and plaid is what I really wanted. But I'm also really interested in a good deal, as you may know. So, as configured the way I would want it, for the standard range, 98,490, that's pretty good. Under 100. I mean, once you actually, if we go through here and continue, it will show 100,130, including your destination. Now, there's still tax to add on to that as well, but for now, we'll just say destination, delivery, all that, 100,000 out the door plus tax. So it wouldn't necessarily be under 100,000, but it's right there at it. It makes it way more achievable than, say, a plaid, because when you pull your plaid and you do this, it's 113, so you're $13,000 more. Now, on the same part of that, well, 13,000 isn't a whole lot to consider you're getting, way quicker acceleration, way more range really than the standard range. Even though the long range is going to get more range overall, it's still more than the standard range. So it's really a toss up. It's do you want to go cheap or do you want to go fast? And usually I do this thing where I'm like, oh, let's meet in the middle. But the only middle point is this one. And like I said, it's only like $3,000 difference to even do that. It doesn't make any make any difference. Why wouldn't you spend the $3,000 and go plaid? So that brings me over here. These are inventory cars, and for the last few months, they have been discounting inventory cars by about $9,500. And if you really do the math, that's only $500 more than the new standard range. So for the price of the standard range at $98,490, I could come over here and buy, actually, this is cheaper. Oh, you know what? We didn't put my filters in. White and 6-seat. $99,240. So it's a little, it's right there in that range. And I'm sure once you actually do like the destination and all, it comes out to right at the same. And now keep in mind, this is Raleigh, okay. Keep in mind, this is a long range. So 100, 880. And if we go back over here, we were at 104? Nope, 101. So for, let's say, $700 more, I could get the long range, which is, better. It's basically the same car. Oh, I don't actually want to do that. But you get your 348 miles of range. You get your faster acceleration. You're going to have the full capacity of the battery unlocked. So, if you need to go to 100%, you could. Probably wouldn't very often, but you could. So, yeah. Honestly, I think this is a better deal than the new standard range. Now, obviously, they're not going to offer these at this huge discount forever. I think they're just trying to get the push out right now. They're trying to to get more cars out. And like, here's a Plaid, and it's not even discounted at all. So, of course, it is the only Plaid within 200 miles. So I guess there's that. But I don't know. It has me thinking. It's got me kind of wondering if I should just do it, if I should go with the long range and save the money. My friend Dave made a point earlier. I can't remember exactly what he said. Oh man, now I'm gonna butcher it. It was something along the lines of buy it right or buy it twice or something like that. So you have to, get it the way you want it the first time, or you'll end up buying it again. And I have done that. I bought that Model Y long range, and I was like, man, I should have got the performance, and ended up trading it for the performance. So, so he's got a point, and I probably should just go ahead and stick it out and wait and get the Plaid. I guess the biggest things are like, I was trying to wait until September to see like what deals they're going to offer. Are they going to offer 3 years free supercharging? Because that would be a big deal. For me, I love to travel, and I've got a lot of supercharging miles. Thank you guys for using my referral link, by the way. It is in the description. 3 people have used it, and so I have a lot of referral miles right now that I could just burn. I can supercharge all I want for basically free. So, well, it is free. But anyway, so, it's not a big deal, but 3 years free supercharging would be just more added to that. It would be well worth it. And especially if they're doing it as an end of quarter push, they may want to, I lost my train of thought. Well, dang. Anyway, if they're doing it as an end of quarter push, they may offer bigger deals, like 3 years free supercharging or whatever. It's pretty interesting that they are already offering nearly $10,000 off of inventory cars. And if they were doing it on a Plaid, I'd probably be like, oh yeah, Plaid doing it. But at the same time, I do want to wait till September just to see if I can get those free years of supercharging. But we'll see. I'm trying to take it slow. I mean, I've still got, like I said, I need to sell 2 cars in order to go buy this car with cash. And I've still got both of the 2 cars that I'm going to sell. I've not been really working hard at it. I'm taking my time because I want to make sure that I get a good deal, not just, the first offer that comes along. I've gotten an offer. It was horrible. And I was like, yeah, that's not going to happen. I'm not going to take that. So, but it does set a baseline of like, what's the absolute worst I can get for it, which really wasn't that bad considering. But, if I took the absolute worst offers on the 2 cars, I could still buy the standard range or the inventory long range, cash. But that's not what I want to do. I want to aim for the Plaid, and I've got some cash. If I have to put cash with it, I will, but that's not ideal. I want to get out of 2 cars and into one at no cost out of pocket. The one cost that I will eventually incur is this one, because I feel like enhanced autopilot is worth it. It's just that I'm not going to add it to the build because the way my state does taxes here, they will tax me on the property value of that software upgrade. Whereas if I add it after I buy the car, I don't have to pay any property taxes on the software. Technically, I would pay sales tax on the software, but I have means of not doing that either. So, yeah. I don't tax evade. It's 100% legal. I have my reasons. Anyway, so yeah, that's my train of thought right now. That's kind of where I'm at. It's very enticing to want to save, 20 grand really, on getting the standard range, and the benefits of the battery and how it charges and how it works are pretty nice. But at the same time, I don't know that it would be worth it to take that big of a loss, really. And it's, at the end of the day, it's not 20 grand. Right here it is. It's 20 grand off the base price. But by the time you can figure it out with the blue paint and the 6-seater and the white interior, it ends up being not that big of a difference. I mean, 98, you go up to the long range, 108, you go up to the plaid, 111. So the jump from base model to plaid is not that big of a jump as it seems to be here. And that's kind of, I was telling someone about this the other day. They were like, oh, if you were buying a Model Y, would you buy the long range or would you buy the performance? And I was like, well, obviously I'd buy the performance, and I'll tell you why. It's just the same deal, basically. If you go over here and you configure the Model Y, you've got 3 options, 47, 50, and 54. Now, there's only a $4,000 difference there between long range and performance. But if I want to do, like let's say I wanted a red one, that's what I've got now, and I want the bigger wheels because obviously they look nicer, and I still want my white interior, I think that's pretty much it. That's what I've got right now. 55, $490. Well, if you jump up to the performance, you're only $2,000 away. $2,000 gets you even bigger wheels and upgraded brakes, a faster acceleration, a higher top speed. I think it's a higher top speed. Yeah, higher top speed. And the reduction in range really isn't that big considering what you're getting. And if you took the base wheels, it's a big jump. But if you're already going to get the bigger wheels, it would make no sense to not get a performance. And this right here is a big one for me. These are the old reflector style headlights that they are still using. And these are the Matrix headlights that I have talked about for years. Why wouldn't you? Matrix headlights are so much better, so much brighter, and it's just an added bonus for taking the performance instead of going long range. And at this point, once you can figure it out the way I would want it, at least, it's only a $2,000 difference. It doesn't make sense to not. So, yeah, that's my opinion. That's where I go with that. We'll talk more about Tesla. I'm sure. I'm certain that we will talk more about Tesla because I will probably end up buying this next month. And I mean, this video is, it's going up late, I'm sure, but this video was made on the 21st. So we're less than a month away from me ordering this car, I'm sure. Around the 15th of September is when I expect the prices to either take a drop again, or maybe they'll do 3 years supercharging, or some sort of offer will come out around the 15th of September because that'll be starting the end of quarter push. And they're going to want to get as many cars moved as they possibly can. And I will oblige with that and take one. So we will talk about this more. I will see you guys later.